Hello and good evening, each and everyone. This is hopefully the voice chat. I'm awaiting Arnaud Ménard, my friend, to see if he can join in. Here we go. He asked, let's see. I am awaiting. Hopefully we can see Arnaud. I accept him again and again and again and again. We're cursed. We're cursed. We are so cursed. I'm accepting and I'm accepting and accepting. Yes, Arnaud wants to join. And now I get a notification that Arnaud can't join. And oh God, this is a nightmare. Why? Hey! Seems like we have a success. Almost can't believe it. Finally!
Oh my God, it's incredible.
I can see you, and
I see myself too.
and when I check on my extra here, I can see both of us.
Okay, it's incredible. And now I see that you are inviting me to something else. So no problem.
Yeah. So let's not touch. This is like
touch anything. No.
Don't touch anything. It's like,
yeah.
Basically, this is, you know, I am not a very when it comes to computers and all this technical part of the recording, but that's one thing that I like to talk to you about. But about that, like a couple of years ago when I bought a new computer, I work in Cubase, so I installed it. At the same time I had to buy a new sound card and everything, and I plugged it in and I plugged my microphone in and everything worked.
Oh my God, you lucky man. So, I changed my computer this week. And I basically bought components for it, and so I did all the job by myself.
Yeah.
And when I pushed the button, nothing worked. So I had to start a very, very annoying troubleshooting process. And finally, I found out a way to make it work properly, but it was a hard work and a hard fight. And I don't know if it's just me, but it often happens to me. I mean, things that work instantly are, well, maybe tube amplifiers, because it's very old school technology,
Yeah.
It's just hit or miss, so.
Yeah, but for me, that was like, when it all worked, it was like, I'm never touching anything here again.
Okay.
And like, I spent like an afternoon making presets for how I usually work when I record. And since then, I've only touched the record button,
Okay. Great. So it's cool to see you.
Yeah, very nice to talk to you like this. We talked with each other a couple of times before, in different contexts.
Yeah.
And now when I started to think about doing these voice chats again, you were definitely one of the people that I thought I like to have a talk with you about singing.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I can give you back the compliment, because we chatted a couple of times in Messenger, and in other occasions a bit more formally, but casually. But here, yeah, I think we will have an interesting conversation, and I was looking forward to having it with you.
Yeah, and I actually remember how it came about that we started to talk with each other, because I was going to record vocals for the Eunomia
Oh, yeah.
metal opera, and I was on the part 1, and then Peter Danielson asked me to be on part 2, and I said sure, and I had the time to do it, and he sent over a
because
song.
If I remember well, it was during the pandemic, so
There was
you in Sweden
time.
didn't experience the lockdown, but I was locked down. I was locked down, so I had nothing to do. I couldn't give lessons. I mean, person to person. I had to give all my lessons online, and so I had a kind of drop in my activity, and it was really good to have those songs to perform and to record, because first of all, it took me time because they are hard to sing. and also it gave me the opportunity to have to work.
Yeah, and we like you said, we didn't have the same kind of lockdown, but I also had, you know, all my day job lessons had to be online too. But I remember specifically when Daniel said, well, here's the song, I'd like you to record the second verse and the blah blah blah, but you already recorded all of it, and I never heard you before, and it was like, why would you want me to, you know, replace this? It sounds awesome.
Thanks.
So that's what I know. Like, okay, I at least I had to write you and tell you that, like, sorry.
I remember the first message, and yeah, I mean, maybe we'll talk about that. Maybe we can start to talk about that. But I'm not that comfortable, you know, with kind words about my singing, because I think I have been a kind of hidden singer for a long time, and also a very frustrated singer, because when I started, basically everybody told me to shut up. So and when I became a teacher, I found out that it was really common among my students and even my colleagues, that I think it comes. We talked about it once, but I think that is just because when you sing in a way, you kind of inhabit the space a bit too much, and people tend to, and also because you dare to do something, and I think people, in normal situation, just are bound to their own, close limits, and have difficulties to tolerate something or someone taking a bit more space. And there's also, for myself, there's also another factor, I think, because I didn't start with, as a musician, as a semi-professional musician. I was a guitar player before being a singer, and
in Alchemist, kind of, right?
Yeah, you too.
In Alchemist.
Yeah, in Alchemist, I played the guitar, I wrote the songs, and I really wanted to play the guitar. I mean, it's an instrument that I love, and I like the guitar tones, and that's also a reason why I work in a recording studio, just to craft huge guitar tones. I like it very much. But I mean, people can be a bit conservative too, and I was. I mean, when I was a young guy, and I saw that one musician that I loved, when he played the guitar, just tried to sing or recorded an album as a singer. I wasn't that interested. I mean, I wasn't interested. I don't know why. Now I find it stupid. But and even when I saw, for example, when I discovered that a singer that I loved was playing the guitar while singing, in a way, he wasn't really a singer. You know, he was half a singer. Even if, I mean, it could be incredible, but there was something, and I don't know, maybe I thought that he wasn't totally dedicated to his singing. I don't know, it's stupid, but it's the way I thought, and probably it's the way that a lot of people, I don't know.
Yeah, because you know, sometimes someone just ends up singing in the band. You know, almost like,
Yeah.
You know, you get to sing.
Yeah,
but
but they stop, because in Alchemist, for example, in Alchemist we never rehearsed with the singer, because and you probably know a bit that situation. It starts to lag a bit.
Yeah, I usually, you know, whenever you freeze, it's like,
yeah,
frozen.
Yeah.
But yeah, but so was that how it went? Like, you guys rehearsed without the singer, and you started to sing for rehearsal's sake?
Yep, exactly.
Is that like how you, as a whole, like that's how you started out singing, or did you sing anything before, like kids choir, you know, or something like that?
When I remember that I have always sung. My father has got a couple of tapes where I was a 3 years old child singing everything he could. So, but I stopped singing when I grew up, and the desire to sing came back afterwards, when I was maybe 16 or 17, and I tried, but I sucked at it. I mean, I was really bad.
Yeah.
And it took me a couple of times. I think I tried many things. I really tried many things, and none of them worked. I tried to sing high, and obviously it didn't work. I tried to sing low, but it was, I mean, too, I don't know, too heavy, and it was goofy. I mean, and I tried to, I also tried to sing extreme metal once, and I failed because I was tired really quickly. And so basically every attempt were just ways without, I mean, ways without any happy conclusion. I couldn't sing. I came to the conclusion I couldn't sing, but I carried on singing. And when I had my first car, I think maybe the problem was that I had no rehearsal room. You know, there was no space for me, and when I had a car, I started different things, and I started to find things, to find techniques, to find ways to sing higher. And that's the moment when I really wanted to sing, and that's the moment when I tried to sing Alchemist songs in rehearsal, in the rehearsal room, and that's the moment when the author told me to shut up. Of course. So yes, it was very progressive, and it was not a simple path. I'm not a natural born singer in a way. I mean, I like singing. I sing in tune. I have a pretty good ear, I think. And that was also the reason why my parents put me at the music school when I was a child to learn the piano or things like that, because there was that music teacher at the elementary school who told them that they had to teach me music because I was kind of made for that, she thought. So
That's great.
but
We need music teachers.
and yeah, but at the same time, when I started to sing, I really have to admit that it was hard for me, and until even 30 years old, I was pretty convinced that I was not made for that, and that was something that I couldn't do because I lacked something, the essential thing that could, maybe it was physiological or but there was something that was out of my reach, and it came to the point that I stopped singing between 25 and 30. I stopped, basically. I just sang in my car, but I had no band. I had absolutely nothing. I stopped singing.
What made you start again?
Again, it's a strange story. It is, but it's strange, but it's very common at the same time. I have an extreme metal project, and I played the guitar in this project. You have to know that I was hurt 20 years ago, and there was a period of 3 years where I couldn't play the guitar because my left hand was injured, and so there were nerve injuries in the cervicals, and I couldn't play, and I even didn't know if I could play again one day, if I could play guitar one day. So it was a sad situation, and I had that extreme metal band, but I was in a situation where I had no place in this band since I couldn't play the guitar. And anyway, the songs were so fast and so technical that I could write them, but not play them. And one day in 2011, our singers just left the band because he was in another band. He had a lot to do, and he left the band. So I said, okay, I can't sing, but maybe I can shout. Maybe I can shout. Maybe I can scream.
Sorry, just to be clear, are we talking about Deaf Code Society now?
I don't know. It's I have I have a couple of bands that in which, yeah, obviously it's Deaf Code Society, but maybe we can talk about it later because I had I'm a singing teacher now and a studio owner, but I had another career before, and for 20 years I was a state employee as a literature teacher. So there were a couple of bands which could be a bit more controversial that I chose to have under an also known as under pseudonym. So and wearing masks, etc. So yeah, it's not such a deep secret, but yes, it was Deaf Code. And so I started to shout, I started to scream, but it didn't work either. And I got tired very quickly. I didn't have the tone I wanted, and I was really better than our former singer, who was a good singer, a very, very good singer. A bit I contacted him because his voice made me think about the guy of Meshuggah and Devin Townsend too, a bit. So just to say the level, and I wanted to replace it, which was mad in a way. It was a mad attempt. But I was haunting these years. I would haunt a lot the Andy Snip forum, you know, the forum for sound engineers, metal sound engineers. And I got in touch with someone who told me, okay, man, you know that you can learn this. And I have recorded a vocal coach, extreme vocals, so you could maybe try. And I contacted him, and I took maybe a couple of lessons with him, and it worked. And it kind of, I mean, it changed a lot because it gave me energy to carry on, first of all. And I needed hope, I think. Oh my God. I really needed that hope. And it was really, I mean, mandatory for me, because if I had the opportunity to improve, I think I would have stopped. And then because I'm a bit obsessional, when I understood it was more a matter of method, a matter of it was less a matter of being able to do something than to find the right door, you know, to really find the right path. I started to study vocal technique. I discovered complete vocal technique. You might know it. It's pretty popular.
What's her name?
Sorry?
Yeah, the Danish lady. Forgot her name.
Katrin Sadelin.
Yeah, Sadelin.
Sadelin, yes. So,
or like the Danes say, Katrin Sadelin.
What was I was far from, I mean, nerdy stuff at that time. The only thing that I considered when I discovered complete vocal technique was the fact that it seemed to be at the time the only method studying the ways every sound could be produced by a human voice, and explaining it. And that was something that I was very sensitive to. And I went passionate with CVT, but I couldn't afford obviously the school, so I started to steal everything I could, parrot way. And I also discovered that there were 2 teachers that were certified around my area. And I said, okay, now that I learned a bit of extreme vocals, maybe I can learn how to sing for real. And so I went to a first lady who helped me the way she could, and I improved a bit. But I think the second one was more, I had that kind of very wow moment, because we worked on a song. I was kind of able to sing, but as every song that I could, that I was kind of able to sing, I could sing only 2 songs or 3 songs, and then I was my voice was blown, and I couldn't reach my high range and etc. And she just explained me, showed me, and taught me how to do, and I mean, almost 20 years of frustrations went away in 1 hour. And I remember quite well that.
Sorry, because this was one of the questions that I was going to ask, like if you have like a very special vocal or singing memory. So I'm guessing I'm guessing we're at it now.
Yeah, I think it's this one, because when I remember really well, it's very vivid in my memory that when I went out of that singing studio, I just said that's the job I want to do. I mean, I want to help people to just feel happy because they have solved a problem. I want to be able to make a difference, which was not the case in my former job. Maybe I could, I mean, but where you're in front of 30 people every day, you really don't know which is the difference you make, especially as people are not there for their own pleasure, but they are kind of forced to be there, and they're a captive audience, and it's not that comfortable, you know. So in one moment I had a revelation about my voice, and I kind of had a revelation about my own life, and I was offered a way out of my I mean regular misery.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So and this was like in, what do you say, like 2011
Yeah.
or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
2012,
Yeah.
2013. Yeah.
And you know, you don't talk about a lady's age, but still you were, I mean, you were grown up. You were an
Yeah.
adult person. You weren't like in your late teens or something, like as many are when they start. I mean, you've been meddling around with singing and trying it a little bit, but like when you started to take things seriously, you were
More than 30. Yeah.
I won't say old, but yeah.
Yeah, but more than 30. I was 31.
Yeah. So and that I think is really inspirational, because many people, you know, they and you know, around 30, you know, sometimes depending on kids or whatever, but perhaps you kind of settled, and you know,
Yeah.
for anyone watching who is around 30, and you're kind of settled, and you know, like, what do I do now when the free time is starting to come in a little bit again? What do I do?
Yeah.
It's not too late.
Oh no, it's never too late. And it's what is great is that it happened the same year that I had my second kid.
Yeah.
So I welcomed his birth, and in a way there was also, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. In a way, it was a rebirth for me, because I was stuck on a professional level. I was stuck, and I was really unhappy. On the musical level, I mean, I was wounded, and I knew that I could never play the guitar at a very, very high level, as I would have liked or dreamed to do. And I mean, music is my life. Since I'm 12, I play in bands, and I've never imagined myself doing something else than playing music. And it kind of, in a way, it could be seen as something really positive, but in a way, it devoured my life, because it also forced me to, I mean, to organize my life around it, because it's almost a disease. When I remember quite well, when I was a student, my immediate neighbor was going mad because I was, you know, building rhythms on my table with my fingers, because I was imagining riffs, and once I was home, I was programming, you know, my drum machine, taking my guitar, demoing stuff, and from the moment of the wake until the moment when I went to bed, everything that wasn't music kind of seemed very bland to me, and so that's why singing it's extraordinary when you think about it. It's really it's a strange story that now I'm make a living out of giving vocal lessons, because I wouldn't have imagined that.
That's really that like I said, that's both, you know, inspirational but also like beautiful in a way,
Yeah.
to hear. I'm just gonna comment on this. Mirko is writing. He's gonna finish watching this tomorrow, and yeah, I'm gonna post it. And later on, I'll probably post it on YouTube too. But one thing that I'm thinking about now, Arnaud, you know, since you made a transition from guitarist to singer, once you joined the dark side, what would you say, with your experience being like first and foremost a guitarist, what would you say is the best thing about being a vocalist?
It will be quite tautologic, but the best thing in being a singer is to sing.
Yeah. Do you remember do you remember the first time you went on stage with that band that probably is called Deaf Code Society? When you felt that you had, you know, we don't master things, but like when you felt like I can do this. Do you remember that first live experience?
My first live experience as a singer actually was before. When I was 20, I had a kind of band, a power metal band, which was quite amateur, but we had fun. And what I remember is that my stage presence was absolutely shit. I was really embarrassed with myself. And I think the thing that embarrassed me even more was the fact that after 3 songs, I just had to scream the hell out every time I had to belt a note upper than a G4, and the experience was more like, you know, a surviving game than something really awesome. But my first concert with my extreme metal band was a blast. It was really a blast because I mastered it, and I kind of inhabited the character that I am in that band, because, you know, we are disguised in a way. We have costume, mask, makeup, and in a way, I think it helped me. It helped me to distance myself from myself.
Did you feel like, you were using another voice for could you like place that voice into that character in a way?
Yeah, I think in a way I was doing the thing, but I learned something that is very, very important when you sing, or even when you play the guitar or the piano, or I mean, something that comes with mastery of your art is the fact that at one point you are not doing the thing, you let the things be done through you in a way, and this is that point of mastery that everybody wants to reach one day. And I think that the true artists and the greatest performers are not really performing, they are just performed from beyond. And I wouldn't say that I experienced it with the Deaf Code Society, but I touched it a bit, because of all the decorum and all the things that are conceptually linked to the band helped us in a way to reach that semi-trance state.
Yeah. So we were talking about like good vocal memories, and you were kind of touching in on bad vocal memories. But do you have one that stands out other than, you know, like the power power metal failure, or when they told you to shut up, or do you have like that mistake that time when I did that?
Yeah, I I, I haven't. I mean, I haven't made mistakes that I'm really ashamed of. But there was a very, very, very bad situation. Not that bad. I didn't die, but and and nobody suffered. But some weeks ago, I have caught a stupid cold at the wrongest moment possible, because I had to play live with Discode, and we had to play 1 hour for 1 hour, and I was sick, and my voice was not in a good state. And I remember this concert as something really the longest hour of my life, because at every moment, at every word, I was fearing that the following word would never come. And I think that is you asked me what is cool in being the singer, and I answered, okay, it is singing. But the worst thing when you are a singer is to be subject to your health conditions a bit more than other instrumentalists in the band. When the drummer has got a cold, he still can play, and or maybe he will have a bit less energy to hit the shells, but overall it won't be so detrimental to his musical performance.
Yeah.
When you are a singer, it is really, really another world. You have to be very, very cautious, and that's
Yeah, and in a way it also feels a bit unfair, because yeah, of course, you could stay away from people, and you could whatever, wash your hands a couple of more times, but it feels unfair in a way, because it's not something that you did.
Oh yeah.
Because if you drink, smoke, and do other stupid shit, and never sleep, never practice, and you sound like shit, then and then it's like it's your fault. But if you get a bad cold, it's like, why? What did I do? I don't deserve this.
Yeah, yeah, and you're be pretty miserable, and especially when you're on tour. When you're on tour and when you catch something, it's not a good situation. And I know a lot of singers that don't enjoy touring so much because of that.
Yeah, because let's face it, eventually you will catch on to something, because you all live cramped up, and you use the same butter knife or whatever. You're all over the place.
Yeah.
And if you're like two or three bands on a bigger tour, it's inevitable.
Yeah, and you undergo it, and without wanting to I don't know if I'm more fragile than other ones, but I have to say that I have had a lot of occasions when I had to sing with a cold, and not that bad that this time. This time was really the baddest cold I had in a very long time, and even today, I mean, it was 1 month ago, and even today I'm still coughing a bit, and it has consequences on my vocal performances, even right now.
Yeah, sometimes it can stick very long. I remember I had like a super bad cold in late 2019, and I was out, chopping wood, and it was very cold, but I got sweaty, so I didn't wear enough clothes, and doing this for a couple of hours, and and things just snapped, and my neck just.
Okay.
I was like Quasimodo, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, and yes, and it affected my voice so much. I all the fine, you know, I could either sing or you know, there was nothing in
Nothing.
between. It was
Nothing in between. Yeah.
on or off, and you know, it was all, you know, chiropractic, you know,
Okay.
physiotherapy, massage, and like a month or two until I could, you know, have my shoulders in a normal position.
Yeah.
And all of that because of stupid cold. But I got so tensed up, you know, and it was just, and that, but that was like one of the moments when it was like, okay, what, you know, if this doesn't solve itself in some way, you know, I'll have to be a plumber.
Yeah.
Or
It's something that it is really interesting what you say, because I mean, singers and singing teachers used to be very, very anxious about their vocal health, which is something that anybody could understand, since first of all it is the way we our lives.
yeah,
But I think it is also, I mean, something that can create pretty bad situations, especially when psychology and is concerned. Because for example, I even wonder if things last so long just because we are kind of overreacting to them. When something bad happens to my voice, I immediately think that I'm just getting too old, and or worse, because I'm an extreme singer and I sing very demanding stuff. Maybe I just did something wrong with it, and I just fucked my voice up, and afterwards you really realize that it is not that clever to sing this way, because we know that technically you can sing those things, and I'm not the kind of singer like Bruce Dickinson, who is 9 months on the road every year, you know. So if something is really wrong, or if my voice is tired, I just can't stop a bit for a couple of days, and
yeah,
everything goes normal after a while.
yeah, and I don't know about you, but sometimes, you know, when I teach, I can have an entire lesson, and I could just, you know, sing like only a couple of phrases,
Yeah.
like 40 minutes or an hour, depending on when I teach. And other lessons, you sing all the time, and you demonstrate or imitate or whatever. But for me, it was kind of a relief after teaching for a couple of years to learn this side of it. Like, I can do it without you, sort of, if I have a bad voice day, or if I know that I'm gonna perform, if it's a Friday and tonight I'm gonna perform at a bar or whatever, I will not ruin. I don't have to ruin my voice, or there's no risk. I can rest my voice during the day. That's like you said, the difference between a touring musician who plays 200 shows.
Oh yeah. It's really a different job.
Yeah. But the another thing, and I don't know about you, but when you teach and you have a variety of students, the stuff you get to sing, for me, since that's where I always go, 1 hour it could be Celine Dion, and then it's Shagraf.
Yeah. It's it's also interesting. For example, what I liked and what I especially enjoy is the fact that my students are diverse, and it's a bit like you. Some of them want to learn how to scream, grunt, or whatever, and some others have more mainstream tastes, and even more mainstream tastes than me, and they make me discover artists that are truly badass. I mean, they are, and even if some of them are not especially spectacular as singers, they can be pretty impressive interprets and poets, I'd say. And so it is really something that kind of gave me food for thought, and also a kind of greater scope than the one I had previously. Yeah, I'm grateful for that also, and also it has given, I think it has also given to me another perspective on the talents of singing, because when you only listen to music, you sometimes tend to be a bit assertive and thinking that that man who plays music which is not exactly your cup of tea is not that good. But once you try to sing like him, or to do what he does, you just realize that he's a fucking incredible musician. and it's impossible to do it yourself without working your ass off. So I think it was also a very good school of humility for me. Yeah.
And I think exactly the same, because that's kind of what differs voice teachers from singers, because we don't have the luxury to choose, this is what I do. Or, I mean, of course, some voice teachers, if you are like the
Yeah.
expert on Baroque interpretation
Yeah.
in your country, and you teach at the conservatory, that's where people will go to you to learn exactly just that. But you know, us more normal humans,
Yeah.
we have to be diverse, and we can't afford the luxury to say, no, I only teach fry screaming, and I teach it this way.
Yeah. And that's also, that means no sense. Because
Yeah.
fry screaming is a really interesting topic, because I really do think it's more, it's vaster than what we usually think, but it's absolutely I mean, it's amazing everything you can learn from that. But you are right. Even if, I mean, lately, even if I have a couple of, I still have a couple of students that want to, for example, sing more really mainstream stuff, and which is really cool. And I think I will keep the people, I mean, normal people, not weirdos like me. But lately I have had a bit more demand from metal and rock singers, because it is all. I also have to admit that it is my area of expertise more than the other type of singing, even if I can teach it. The only thing that I don't teach is classical, and also jazz, and even some kind of, you know, world musics. All those musics that needs to have what I call vocabulary and a culture, which is not exactly I mean, coordinations or sounds, because if I listen to a jazz singer, I can pretty figure out how she or he sings, but I miss the culture, the cultural background and the vocabulary around it. So I miss all this
the musical style and context and all of that.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, like, okay, this is technically very nicely produced, but is it good in a jazz context? I wouldn't know.
Yeah, and I don't, and even what we call classical music is so. You told it. I mean, Baroque music singing is not exactly the same that the way you sing a Wagner opera or a
Lida,
Rossini or Rossini or it's really different.
Yeah, I mean, if you just say classical, like you said, that will mean Wagner, Baroque, Deutsche Lieder, and it's like saying I sing rock music.
I sing rock music, yeah.
Yeah. Do you mean Dissection or the Bee Gees?
Yeah, the Bee Gees.
Yeah.
Lorna Shore or the Bee Gees.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, at least I and probably many others, we probably see you as the extreme vocal technical guru. And what I like to know is, what is the most common misconception that you encounter? Like now, after teaching a couple of years, what is like, this is what most people get wrong?
I wouldn't go too arcane about that, but I think I have to ask you the meaning of your question. Are you talking about the misconception? I mean, the people not knowing that kind of music do, or the misconception that most students can have?
I think that most students, like, they come to you and they say, so I learned this and I want to do that, and they.
Okay. Yeah, I think that one of the most the mistake that I encounter the most is that people want to go straight to the sound they want and they hear. They sometimes don't understand that it's a kind of oblique way, and they don't want to welcome what comes spontaneously. And when you start to learn extreme metal vocals, you have to know that it's not. It's very likely that the first sound you will produce will not be the ones you want, and can probably even be the ones you hate the most, the ones you have, because we have affinities with techniques. And I don't know why, but it's a fact. I mean, maybe it's due to our body, maybe it's due to our environment, the way we speak, the way we shout, the way our language works also. So there are such an infinity of factors tending to determine the sounds you are the closest to. And I remember quite well that I was it was really easy for me to make some extreme sounds, but I really despised them. I didn't want to sing them. I hated them, and all the ones that I wanted to produce were just out, and I found it really stupid and frustrating. And I see that also now with my beginner students, that some of them feel easy to produce one kind of sound, but they don't want to produce it. So I think one of the most common mistake is what I would call the fear to welcome what happens. And yeah, I might be, well, it's not exactly Zen, like because Zen is very, very, very complicated, but it's a bit linked with what I was telling. Sorry, my English is broken. I'm French. I was saying before about the fact that sometimes you have to let yourself be used by something else. I don't know, by your voice. And I would say that mastery is exactly the contrary of control, in a way. To master something is not to control it. It is really different. It's to make yourself available for the tone you're after, and
Yeah.
it's a long process.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
and also it resembles the way that how I see it, like allow yourself to play, because
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course.
because when we
Yeah.
play and fool around, there is, we are open to ideas, and like
Yeah.
you say, when we try to control, then we try to shut ideas out. So it's like a mindset,
Oh,
the
yeah,
way you
yeah.
describe it.
We have preconceived. I mean, we have preconceived version of the tone that might not be exactly the tone we're after, because we have a representation of the tone, but sometimes between the representation and the tone itself, there's a huge difference.
Yeah, and also I hear myself saying this, and for some of the students in that are listening in, they probably will recognize, like, this is not the end result.
Yeah.
I say that, I feel like a parrot, we will try this. And I can say, this is awesome, but it's not the end result. And they will say, it sounds weird. Yes, and it was awesome, but it's
Yeah.
not the end result. And by awesome, I say, you did what I wanted you to do. And now we will move on.
I think that there's another mistake, and not only for string vocals, but also for I mean, more orthodox way of singing. I really like when my students make mistakes during lesson, because when a mistake is done, you can study it. You really can study it, and sometimes I often try to make my student make the mistake they did, but on purpose, just to see what happens. I mean, when you do that,
Yeah.
when you do that kind of coordination, see what happens. So
learn. Some pedagogy don't agree with me on this, but sometimes I feel like we can learn by, exaggerating a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Exaggerating the mistake. And for example, if you have students that doesn't have English as their first lesson, I sometimes have them reading the lyric like they were their grandmother or grandfather. If it were in Swedish, with a very broken English, with a very Swedish accent on it, so it sounds really silly. And then I realized that I do all these diphthongs when I sing it in English.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's probably going to be the mistakes I'm going to do based on my language. Or if you have a Slavic language, you probably have very hard and aggressive consonants.
Yeah.
That might follow you into your singing. So,
sorry?
Yeah, that might follow, might leak over into your singing.
Language.
And by exaggerating them, you kind of acknowledge it. Oh.
Yeah.
And then you can back off.
Oh, yeah. And also, I mean, even exaggerating while you want to learn something is great. For example, sometimes I like to desacralize a bit the favorite singers we have, but I really love Jeff Tate and Michael Kiske and these types of singers. But when I have to teach a bit their way of singing, they remind me of gooses, you know.
Yeah.
Those, I don't do it quite well here, but there's that kind of sound that a goose does. And I think, and sometimes I say, okay, if you listen to that singer and that part you love, but doesn't it make you remind of something else? I mean, if you listen to Painkiller, it's just a car braking, you know, or a crow, or a Kiske is a goose, or etc. And it's something that works. I think it works well because, first of all, it allows, I think, to sometimes to not idealize too much our models, because when they are too ideal, they are very, very difficult to reach. They are really out of reach, and you just basically spend your life trying to be as good as, and even if it's really, really nourishing to get inspiration from singers and to imitate them, to imitate their idiosyncrasies, it's not good to I mean, to have them as statues, you know. They have to be dynamic model, not something.
And the way I see it is like you get inspired, but then when you're about to sing, you need to hear your own voice in your mind and not Jeff Tate's or Kiske.
Is it even possible to do? Yeah,
because if you hear Kiske, every single sound that you make, because you will never sound exactly like him, every sound you make will be a mistake, like a mistake. Probably, and then you will feel miserable.
Yeah. And
every note will be a failure.
And the problem with that is also that the comparison will be always in your will never be in your favor. I mean, if you compare yourself to I mean, in its own genre, Jeff Tate is just the best for Jeff Tate is the best to sing Jeff Tate. So he is the only one to be able to sing like himself. I mean, truly like himself. So and I say that, and I think it's not that difficult to create one's personality as a singer, because yes, you imitate people, but you can't be perfect doppelgangers of them. So your personality just lies in the difference, in what you can't imitate, and what you can't imitate is just what is irreducible to yourself.
I like that. I like that way of thinking. Like, you know, you take things, and then there will, of course, be gaps in between, and the stuff that fills out the gaps is going to create your own voice. I really like that way of thinking.
Exactly. So it's not that difficult, because I think there are singers sometimes that exaggerate a bit. Sometimes I'm a bit hard on the colleagues, not because I don't like them, because probably I like them too much. I have excellent colleagues and I love them. Sometimes some of them seem, in my opinion, to insist a bit too much on singing with your own personality, just probably because they are in front of many students that have attitudes that are borrowed to other singers. But I think a personality is something that you build through time. It takes long. When you have a teenager, you can't ask a teenager to be himself. He doesn't know who he is. So, of course, he or she will borrow a lot. And I think it's normal and it's cool. And then he or she carries on his vocal journey or her vocal journey, they will at last build something original. People who remain imitators, they often do the job. They become imitators, professional imitators.
Yeah.
So and
I mean,
even
that is awesome if you are in a tribute band.
Yeah.
Or do that kind of. I mean, and we've all seen the dude who sounds like Freddie.
Oh yeah, God. He's even have you seen his Jeff Buckley cover?
No, I haven't.
Probably this man summons the dead, because when he thinks when he thinks Jeff Buckley, he thinks as well as Buckley. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it's
he is insane.
Absolutely stunning.
But I mean,
I'm very jealous. I'm very jealous because I like so much Jeff Buckley. I would have liked to have that level of control, and I think he's my vocal ideal. I think if one day I could sing a single song Jeff Buckley without being ridiculous, I'd be glad. So I even can't blame himself from being Freddie Mercury's doppelganger.
Yeah, but you know that I mean, if you want to go and see like the Queen tribute with the fake mustache and you know everyone dressed in spandex and all of that, then that's awesome. But also, I went to see Queen last year. I've seen them twice with Alan Lambert, but I saw them last year, and I realized that I didn't even miss Freddie because Adam was so outstanding, and also, you know, in a way, if we were to imagine like what would Freddie sound like today if he kept on living the life he lived and he was like 70 today, I think I would prefer Lambert.
Maybe, yeah, maybe, yeah, you're right.
Still, I don't want to take anything away from Freddie, anything he did, but you know, what I saw and heard with Adam Lambert was awesome.
Yeah, I will play the devil's advocate and say that when you got a gift such as being able to Mercury and even to sing Bohemian Rhapsody in such a perfect way as this Mark Martel does, okay, yeah, who could refuse that gift?
It's like that dude who did all the. He's on Frontiers now. He sounds just like Ronnie James Dio. And he made a lot of YouTube videos. What if Dio sang in Megadeth and he sang, you know, Symphony of Destruction, but with his Dio voice imitating thing.
Ronnie, it's not Ronnie Romero.
No, not Ronnie, but another dude, another South American dude.
Okay, don't know him.
I can send you later, but it was really because he started out, you know, singing like a couple of Dio songs, sounding very much alike like Ronnie, but then he made when he got kind of viral, it was like Ronnie James Dio singing. You know, he basically did the AI stuff, but a couple of years ago, and he did it on his own. But he could only do the Dio. But Ronnie James Dio sings Celine Dion. Ronnie James Dio sings this and that.
That South American guy singing exactly like Bruce Dickinson. He sings in Marius Danielson album too. I don't know how. His name. I got it, but I forgot it.
Yeah.
He's impressive. He's really an awesome singer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you ever have like a singer that now when it came to the extreme vocals, like
Yeah.
other than the first singer in Defco that you obviously would like to, you know,
Oh yeah.
sound a bit like, but did you have like a couple like this, and this is what I would like to sound like?
Yeah. Yes. So maybe because for me, singing extreme metal and singing, it's not probably not exactly the same car, but well, you have to be the driver anyway. So I had to. I was very into singers when I started to listen to metal. I was really into this guitar sounds, but there were singers. There were a couple of singers who really impressed me, and I have to name a few, which are probably not the usual suspects. But Brian Johnson from AC/DC. The first time I heard that sound, that rattle sound, I was absolutely stunned. It was so great, so original, very aggressive, and who could have the idea to sing this way? I mean, it's when you're not into that kind of music, it is just almost shocking, you know.
Yeah.
And the second one, who and this time he is still one of my favorite singers, Blackie Lawless from Wasp. It's just until I mean, when I listen to the Headless Children or even the first albums until the Golden Idol, is a marvelous singer. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And as a beginner singer, I had 3 or 4 singers I wanted to match. So I talked about Michi Kiske, which was probably the first singer that that really made I mean an impression on me as a technician, as someone who had that technique. And so I was into power metal. So Kiske, Ralph Shepard, obviously, and that guy,
all the baldies.
that guy who died in 1995, Carl Albert from Vicious Rumors, who is one of my favorite singers. And he was an incredible singer and performer, and I would say probably Andre Matos too, when I was a teenager. And
I remember I saw your Carry On.
Oh yeah.
Carry On cover.
Yeah, it is really strange because when I was into Angra a lot when I was 16, 17, 18. And then I just stopped listening to Angra and Andre Matos, and I didn't follow what they did. I'm a huge fan of Temple of Shadows, the album they did with Angra, but I didn't follow Andre Matos with Shaman. I wasn't into that music, so and to this day, as it's I haven't tried a lot. Maybe I should, and but
I think you should.
It really did something to me when he died, and I don't know if I was really bad mooded these days, but it really had an impact on me, and after a while I said, okay, I have to sing something by him, because it's not normal to think about to obsessively think about the death of someone you never met. I was not linked to him. I didn't know him, but it really, and there was a hint of melancholy in my mind when he died. So I sung this this song, and as far as extreme metal is concerned, I got into extreme metal very quickly, I think, when I was 16 or 17, and I liked those high-pitched black metal screams more than death metal grunting or and so the first band I enjoyed as far as black metal is concerned, first band The first one was Emperor, which is still my favorite black metal band right now. And I really enjoyed that kind of, you know, but my wife describes it very well as a, you know, hungry spider lost somewhere in a haunted castle, you know, and the hungry spider is singing. And I really liked it.
Yeah.
Cradle of Filth, obviously. Danny has
Same here.
has been sometimes despised, but he's an awesome singer. He's incredible.
They also started out, you know, with Demo Borgir and Cradle of Filth when it was like this part of music, and it was those insane highs.
Oh yeah,
from me too. For Danny, because he does all the
flagellate,
you know,
flagellate-driven fry scream.
Yeah,
insane.
And that's also what I remember when I found or saw the Death Code Society, the live video that's out. That was the first. I mean, it all sounds awesome, but those that you did, it really stood out to me. Like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, because for me, when you can do all the but you can do those also. That's like
maybe because I don't know, because for example it was hard for me to have those low screams or low grinding, low false folds, and it is not the technique that I favor still now. I'm more into trying to find resonance tuning for fry screams to sing low. And I'm not that much into I mean, false fold dominant. I think it's false fold. I think my fry screams are okay. We get nerdy here, so I will be short.
Go ahead.
They are probably false fold dominant, but there's also a lot of creaking behind, hidden behind, and you know, that kind of stuff, and probably also a bit of rattling. Probably the arytenoid vibrating too, because of the glottal compression, and that was a ha moment too, because I was recorded something for France, and I hated what I had recorded. And back into my car, I started it again, and I found a coordination that I had never been able to find before, which was the one I'm using in Death Code Society, for example. And it's really mad, because you're in the studio, you try your best, and everything sounds like shit. And once you're home or in the car, you just try, and eureka, it's fucking here. You were
when you relax, when you feel comfortable, when you don't have the pressure.
Probably, but something. I mean, a lock disappeared, and it was really great. So singers, also singer. There is a singer I really like, a Swedish guy, Jens Riden, from the band Nagelfar, and they had an album called Sheol, which was released some years ago, and I really love his sound. That French band also, Anorexia Nervosa, which is a French band, a French symphonic black metal band. They had a mad singer, absolutely insane singer. And the other main influence is Devin Townsend. I really, he's one of my, he's one of my models. And when I started to listen to death metal, it was David Vincent from Morbid Angel, because he's the most articulate and he's got an incredible technique. He's a good singer. He's really a good singer. Michael Ackerfeld too, from Opeth.
Yeah.
Because they don't grunt, they grunt, or they forceful scream, but with elegance, and they have that kind of cave-like tone with a lot of articulation and depth that I like. And And the more I grow up, the more I think every great singer is unique and has really something to teach. Of course, I like the metal singers I have been listening to since I'm a young teenager. But and yeah, there are good reasons why. I mean, Dio, Dickinson, Alford, Tate, Kiske, and so on. They are just legends. But there are also incredible voices in other genre. I was talking about Jeff Buckley, for example, or Freddie Mercury, who are just the pinnacle of what you can desire as a singer. Because they not only they had a good technique and control, but they were able to sing with their heart, and the quality of intent is really important too.
Yeah, and the thing that you talked about with the being very articulate, and the thing I hate the most about harsh vocals is when you have these singers that they find one vowel where they sound good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and with no articulation at all, and just the same. And I sometimes jokingly not call them growlers, but vowlers.
Yeah, it's interesting, but I think that's also the problem with the fact that when you use atonal voice, because screaming is atonal, the pitch perception is dependent on the first formant. Yes. So some singers just want to sing to sing low, or to have the deepest possible voice. So they lower the first formant, and they just keep the mouth closed, because it's the only way to keep the first formant low, or they have to enlarge the glottal but it's not possible if they want to compress, so they compress here, and they have to do that. It's really difficult to do without. So yes, it's and the problem is that with those singers, they sound monotonous, because it is as if you had a singer who would sing everything on the same note always.
Yeah, as long as it's not the one note samba. That song is supposed to be sung over. But yeah. Yeah, exactly. But just can't really like one comment on Blackie Lawless too, because we used to have a like a metal cover band where we played all the stuff that we weren't allowed to play at the academy.
Okay.
So we played all the stuff that we loved when we were kids. You know, Slayer, Iron Maiden, Megadeth, Metallica, Pantera, all of that. And that was an amazing school, just like you described it. Like, okay, now it's Phil Anselmo. Now it's Bruce Dickinson. Now, but the one song that I never got satisfied with was I Wanna Be Somebody. It was so hard. You know, I could sing like an 8-minute Iron Maiden medley and then do Slayer. No problem. But to find that level of grit and keep it in that mid-high, you know, I was never satisfied with it. It was so hard.
Me neither. I recorded a cover of it when I started harsh vocals, when I started to use the distortion and discovered that I could. And same with Ansikursh, for example. I recorded. They have something in common. And I would say there's a third one, which is Ronnie Atkins from Pretty Mates.
Yes.
Which has that maybe a bit more rolly grit. Even if when I listen carefully, Blackie Lawless, I'm pretty sure that there's a rattling element. Sometimes it rattles a bit, and I wasn't satisfied at all, and I don't know why, because lately this summer I had my wasp period, and I had my wasp moment, and I tried to do something a bit closer to what he does, but I'm not quite satisfied with it. He said that when he started Wasp, he had kind of vocal injury, and I really wonder if this injury didn't paradoxically allow him that tone.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but it's spectacular. And now, yeah, I know there are people who complain because he uses backing tracks when on stage, but well, he's 67.
Yeah.
That's a long way.
Yeah, we don't need to open that Pandora's box of all of that. But one thing that I'd like to ask you also is more like sort of a self-reflection. But now, after singing for a while, what do you feel is the best thing about your voice?
I think that probably and it is something that I say a lot when asked for this is the fact that I can sing different stuff. Probably the fact, first of all, that I'm 44 and I'm still able to learn new things and improve. I'm taking lessons on a regular basis still. I'm talking with wonderful and interesting people. I mean, very interesting vocal teachers and people who have original approaches and who are amazingly inspiring. And I'm really happy to be 44, be able to sing the stuff I sing, to be better than when I was 20. I mean, and it's not just to sell myself, because obviously you can think that major singers, I mean, people fronting major bands, tell journalists that they sing better than when they were 20 because they have to sell their art, they have to sell their songs and their shows, or maybe self-convinced convince themselves they are still able to do it as well as they could. But I really, if I make you listen to something I recorded when I was 20, You Know Me album, well, I mean, the music speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I can also sing various styles, and I master probably more tones than many singers on the circuit. That's for sure. It tends though to be something more common this day, and I think this will be something we will see more and more in the days to come. More versatile singers, because the pedagogic offer is better and is vaster, and people like you, for example, you don't teach only clean vocals, but you also teach harsh vocals. You had to master these techniques to be able to teach them, and I'm pretty sure that tomorrow, in 10 years, there won't be any metal singer who just does one thing. They will be more polyvalent, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And this, of course, leads us to the question, like, what is your own personal vocal goals right now? What's like, okay, I'm struggling with this, or I'm learning this, or like after like 2024, I'm gonna do this.
It's not limited. I mean, I don't have deadlines, but first of all, I have the right to say that I often hate my voice when I listen to it, which is something common too. There are still things I don't like, especially with my clean power metal register, which probably could surprise you. I find it sometimes a bit too cutting. I also was very annoyed by the fact that could not sweeten my mixed voice or my mixed register, and I started to take lessons again to fix this, to fix what I would call the fact that I use a lot of, I tend to press a bit too much for my taste. I think it's cool when you sing grungy stuff. Hey, pressing is not that bad. I mean, it's part of the tone, but sometimes I think that I could press it less when I sing power metal. I also basically I try to get rid of what I would call the unnecessary holes that are still there. And that can be, in my opinion, encouraged by the style of singing, by the fact that I'm a rock singer. So I naturally go towards that direction, and I'd like to sweeten it a bit. I was talking about Jeff Buckley, for example. I tried once to sing Grace. I recorded Grace. I have a version of Grace on my computer, sung by me, and it's a piece of shit. So I also had the ambition to sing, for example, Deep Blue by Angra. I really like this song. I love it. And it's a hot song. And especially it's a hot song for me. Because I have to sweeten a bit my approach. And I have to learn my vocal system to know how to do it, to control the muscles a bit more, to master it a bit more. I think it's a never-ending story, but what I'd like to do is to be able to maybe fine control a bit more my motor skills. And because, for example, when I sing live, I have another band, more heavy melodic metal, and okay, my live performances are good, but they could be better. I'm absolutely sure that they could be better. And if I were touring a lot, I'm pretty sure that today the state of my technical skills have to be improved a bit.
Yeah, that it all seems very. I mean, you can be very lucky that you are aware of all of these things, because I think that is the first problem for not many, but for some singers, that if you stagnate, if you like, well, I'm good, no, I don't need anything else, but we all need, and for me, the harsh vocal journey started like 2 or 3 years ago, something like that, and it was, for me, it was like, ooh,
yeah.
Yeah, it was like, ooh, I don't know how to do this. I have to learn. And for me, as long as I can keep that sensation with something, and take those kind of learning leaps now and then, because we can't be that focused all the time and always learn stuff, but we need to take those leaps now and then.
And what helped me gaining that is that I was never good. I mean, I wasn't born good. But I sincerely say it. When for example, I read a Kiske interview when he said that he is self-taught, he never took any lesson, and I believe him. And he just had to listen to the singers he loved to be able to sing like them. And okay, then he had to work. I mean, he had to work to sustain that level on tours. He was probably a faster learner than many of us, but I was never a singer like that. And maybe it's extreme. It's he was an extreme case, but
Yeah, of course.
I wasn't. I mean, when I said that I was bad, I was able to sing in tune. I was able to have a tone. I even found a way to sing high. But I have to admit that I was never satisfied with my performance because they were not that good. They were not professional. They were really amateur. I mean, the guy who sings in the shower, more or less. Or I was a car singer. So and I've always been. I've always kept that. I think that state of mind of a car singer, and I really want to improve because I know there are many things that I still have to learn. I know singers who are able to do things. I mean, younger singers than me who are able to do unbelievable things, and they are really inspiring because
and I feel that, you know, some of my students are way better singers than I am, but I'm a pretty good voice teacher, and I can sing decently. But some of my students, you know, they do stuff that I could never do, and they do it night after night on tour. And you know, if you start to have problems with that, if you have your ego being a part of it, then it.
Yeah, I think being a teacher and being a singer is a different job too.
Yeah, definitely. And those teachers who treat the teaching area as another stage, they are also on the deep end. I think.
Yeah, because the fact is that I still believe that somehow the proof is in the singing. I mean, you have to know how to do what you teach.
Yeah.
And I also really examples because I believe in the mimesis. You know, when you are with someone, I think that that is something that is really close to my heart. I think the problem with singers is that they are alone. They sing alone, especially in rock singing. I often see, you know, guitar players when they meet, or drummers when they meet, they instantly speak about gears, ways of playing, and when singers meet, they sometimes are a bit reluctant. There are maybe egos here, and there are also superstitions, which means you have your voice, I have my voice, and nothing is transferable. You know, I can't forward you anything, and you can't forward me anything, and it's stupid. I mean, we should be in. I have a friend who dreams about vocal gyms. You know, you go to the gym and you sing with people, and that could be a fucking good idea because I mean, it develops your hearing skills, and I'm pretty sure that it makes you also a better singer because I really improved by hearing other people singing, and singing with them too. And so I try to show the examples when I teach, always trying to show the examples, and I think it's important. But you are right. I have been a teacher for, I gave 10 lessons to a guy who toured before tour, to prepare him for a tour, which was a bit strange for me because I have never been an intense touring guy. So I had to gather information. I had to study my subject and to be able to deliver good advices. And I think I did well. But the singer himself was infinitely more capable of touring than me. Let's be honest. I think that if I had to go on tour in 1 month, I really had to prepare myself cleverly, so to apply maybe the advices that I gave to him a bit more. And that's why I think, yeah, as a singer, you can have you can be demanding. I mean, you can have goals and try to improve, try to even to explore different things. As teachers, the goals are different. It's the for me, I really wish I can find I can help people to find solutions. I mean, quick fixing solutions for the people who ask for my help. That's the only thing and that's also why I take lessons too, because I still have problems. So I take lessons just to see other teachers work and think about their method and try to exchange with them. Because when you are a vocal teacher and when you take a lesson with another vocal teacher, it's not exactly the same relationship. You can ask things. You can say, okay, if for example there's that kind of situation, how would you react? What would you put in place to solve the problem, etc. So it's also a way to share.
Yes, yes, and that is something that I think, you know, in one way, in some ways we overshare information online
Oh yeah.
about, you know, technique, and there can be misconceptions and misunderstandings. But this kind of sharing that you're describing, you know, I just want to say once again, it's very inspirational to hear all of this, and I think this might be a nice place to kind of start to sum things up, because we've been going on for a little while,
oh, yeah.
and I still want things to be kind of accessible, and not be too demanding when you. But once again, I'd like to say it's been a very nice conversation, but mostly. And what I like to stress out for people who skip to the end and want to see what we talk about in the end is the inspirational thing is the open-mindedness and the eager mindset that you have,
Thank you.
and that you've been having for these like 14 years or something since you started this journey.
Yeah, I think that well, it's. Well, I don't know what it came from, but I really I let the stress on it, and I will be short on it several times. But I had to work to make my voice. I really had to work, and I really had to also to study, because probably I have a way of working that can be a bit brainy sometimes. Things have to be explained to me before I can do them. I have to conceptualize. I have to conceptualize them before being able to physically do them. It's the way I work. So I had to study, and it's so passionating. I mean, and it's also a field of research. I mean, there are many things that we still ignore. It's very complicated. Sometimes it gets fucking nerdy.
It's a vast.
If you read a teacher paper, you notice that there are mathematical formulas and things like that. And okay, that is something that sometimes just is way up upon my head. But I still find it fascinating, just because it's very it's strange, it's complicated, and it's also very grounded at the same time, because it's even more than in us. It is us. The voice is not an instrument. It's us singing. So it's also, I think, yeah, what really amazes me is I think singing really helped me just to inhabit myself also, and to go back home, I'd say, and that is also why I love it so much.
Yeah, that's very, very beautifully put. It is a part of us, and if you can start to love one part of yourself, then we can,
yeah,
perhaps accept other parts of ourselves too.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Now we're getting almost a little bit too close to philosophy, but
maybe.
But we'll get, that's another field. Yeah. We'll get to that next time.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for taking the time and joining me, and thanks to everyone who joined in and had a listen, either now live or later. And be sure to check out the follow-up to that album. That's the first one. The second one is Eunomia Metal Opera Part 2, and you can hear me and Arnaud scream our asses off on one of the songs together.
Oh yeah, that's a beautiful album.
Yeah,
strong melodies, strong songs. I liked it
very much so. All right, Arnaud, thank you so much once again.
Bye, everybody.
See you out there.